We're running out of time, so it's time sensitive, and so you won't want to miss this episode of Call to Action. So let's begin the show. I like that picture of myself. So, but thanks so much for joining us today. You know, is anybody who's ever seen me on our radio show, which is the IRS Radio Hour on Sundays at 5:00 on AM 560, The Answer, or the Trust Radio Hour, which is on AM 560, The Answer, at 7:00 on Sundays. I always like to talk about what's going on in my office, right? Because this is where where I get this information, what helps people, because I know what people are asking me, the questions that people are asking me, and so this is what I like to talk about. What's coming up, and as maybe you know, and maybe you don't, but May 17th is a new deadline for your tax returns, right? They changed it from the April 15th date. I think they did it, for their own help, because the IRS has been so swamped over the last year. For COVID, most of their employees are working out of home, and they can't get much of the work done. But also all of these stimulus checks that are going through, this is all going through the IRS. The PPP programs, this is all going through the IRS, and it gets much more difficult for them to complete these tax returns. So if anybody, you may know that last year the refunds were very late, and they started paying interest on the refunds, but people were very angry because they didn't get their refunds until very late in the year. Usually if you file your tax return early in January, February, February, because you usually have January to get the information. People file February, March in order to get their refund. But they weren't getting it until September, October. The fact is that the IRS is still working on 2019 tax returns. And so now in 2020, many of these tax returns are done electronically now, and that's good, because that's what they'll run these things through. But anytime there's that you need personnel to take a look at something, well, that's where they're running into problems. Okay, but there's some other good news about them delaying the deadline to May 17th. Okay, so I got a call the other day, and actually it was a guy from LinkedIn, and he was emailing me, and he said, here, my wife and I, we filed our tax returns in February of 2017. And then we amended them sometimes later, and now we get a refund. But we didn't make the April 1st deadline, because that's when they filed their amendment in April 1st. And he thought, well, there's 3 years from that date. He did a little bit of research and found out that you can only get a refund from the IRS for 3 years. Yes, they can collect from you for 10 years, but if they owe you money and you don't file your tax return, you won't get it if you file tax returns. Now, this happens a lot with my clients, in that I have many people who haven't filed in some years, and they start filing some back tax returns. Some of them they owe, but some they have a refund, and they try to cancel each other out. But the IRS, if they're more than 3 years old, the IRS won't cancel it out. It's not, you won't get that money. And I get a lot of complaints about that, rightfully so, but that's that's the rules. They make the rules, and you got to follow them, right? So this is where we are with this. So anyway, and so the gentleman was concerned because he wanted me to write some letter and help him with the IRS. Thought it was unfair that the April 1st deadline came and went, and he was only a little bit late, and he should get that money. It was $8,000. Okay, so I had the pleasure of telling the gentleman, hey, wait a minute. They advanced the date to May 17th, and that gives everybody. So it changes. Not only does it change the date for your tax return, but any other due dates that are tied to April 15th have also been changed to May 17th. So again, if in his case, because he had filed, it was after April 15th, he thought he lost the money. But I had to tell him, get it filed before May 17th, and you'll see that you'll get that refund because it's timely now. So he was very happy to hear that. What I wanted to do is I want to talk. But you don't understand how much money is involved here, and so if you haven't filed your tax returns in some time, don't be. I'm going to show you this. I'm going to show you this story that I found. This is about the IRS. How much money is out there, right? So the IRS owes millions in unclaimed tax refunds, and you only have 5 days left to claim this money, right? So if you have a refund money that the IRS is holding, you have until May 17th to find out if you qualify for some of the, they say millions, but it's $1.3 billion in unclaimed 2017 tax refunds. So $1.3 billion is out there waiting for people to claim. I don't know why people don't. Because it's, taxes are difficult. I get that. But if you have a refund, at least pay somebody to do your taxes on time. Now, again, if they owe you money, they don't care if it's on time. You don't get a penalty if you file your tax return late if they owe you. There's only a penalty if you owe them, right? Because penalties are based on how much you owe. And then there's a certain percentage of that is based on failure to file penalties. Failure to pay penalties are based on how much you owe. The more you owe, the bigger the penalty. But if you don't owe, there isn't a penalty. So even if you don't like the file, after the tax day this year, May 17th, contact somebody. Contact my office. We'll be happy to set up to do your tax return for you. And if you have enough money coming back to pay preparation, tax preparation, all the other is bonus. You won't lose it, right? So otherwise, you might lose that money, and you don't want to do that. You don't want to lose the money. Echo feedback. Okay. So anyway, so this is what, again, you don't want to lose that money, and you should file a tax. You should get a tax preparation. Pay them. Do it. Sometimes it's only a couple $100 to get your tax return done. You can get it done for free too. And I set up I should remember what that is. Let me check and see if I can. It was the tinyurl.com/WGN free return, because I was on David Hochberg's show, and I set up this link for people to find a free tax return. If you make less than $72,000 a year, they'll do the tax. You can file for free. So now they don't prepare it for you. But if you're a W-2 employee, there's not a lot of information to input. But you can get it filed electronically for free. You go to WGN. Remember, it's tinyurl.com/ let me get this /WGN free tax return. Okay, tinyurl.com /WGN free return, and it'll take you to this IRS page. And the IRS page has a list. Again, here it is. There's a list of companies that will do it for you for free. Now, sometimes they won't do your state tax return, and there might be a fee for that, but your federal tax return is free. So here they are: TaxSlayer, Free Tax USA, Free 1040 taxreturn.com, 1040 Now. So all of these companies have an agreement with the IRS to provide this service, again, for free. You still have 5 days. Don't put it off. Go there, get it done. And now I'm going to go back here and talk about this $1.3 billion that's available. Okay, so there's $1.3 billion available and these are people who have not filed from 2017. And after May 17th, you can't claim it anymore. And so, and again, I have a lot of clients, they owe money, maybe goes back 5-6 years, and then it's maybe longer. And then it turns out, hey, I have this refund. Can I just use it to offset what I owe? And the answer is no. It's not applicable. The money you have forfeited. So don't forfeit the money. Go to the IRS website. Go to this free website that I showed you. File your tax return. hire a tax preparation. Now it's going to be very hard to hire somebody now with only 5 days left. People, tax preparers are very busy. It's funny when they expand the date. Last year they did the same thing. It went to July, and so, but from all the way from April to July, it was crazy because there's a deadline that people have. It just gets crazy. Instead of ending on April 15th when it should, it's been postponed. But so the craziness just keeps going on. Now again, we're coming to the end. May 17th is next Monday, I believe, and after that date, you won't be able to file to claim this. And again, I mentioned that somebody contacted me from LinkedIn. If you have questions about your tax return, if you haven't filed, if there's some questions, you should call me. I'm always happy to answer questions. We do it all the time. And when I appear on David Hochberg's Home Sweet Home Chicago, that's what I like so much about his show is that these are professionals that are prepared to answer your questions for free. Okay, so if you call my office at 312-664-6649, again, that number is 312-664-6649, I will answer your questions. Talk to Bonnie, set up a time, and I'll be happy to set up to talk to you about it. Okay, so in the meantime, I'd have to tell you, well, let's see what I can do here. There we go. I am also, not only am I an attorney, but I also am a producer, a TV producer. So I have to produce all this stuff myself. So anyway, let's see, there it goes there. Okay, so again, if you're having a question, if you have a tax problem, you should call me. 312-664-6649. Now, somewhere else you can follow me. All of my shows, all the podcasts, my radio shows, any other appearance I make on the radio, is you can generally find that at watchtalkradio.com. So go to watchtalkradio.com. All of these are there. All of these podcasts are there. All the information that I give every day is there on that website. watchtalkradio.com. I try to be on Facebook. I don't know how long they're gonna leave me. It's amazing that they're canceling everybody. I haven't been canceled. I've never been even suspended from Facebook, but I don't get involved in that kind of talk. But you never know. I don't like the fact that they can that you're it's susceptible to them canceling me for some reason or another, or sometimes no reason. So if you go to watchtalkradio.com, all of my shows are there. Every Friday afternoon, we do our two shows, the Watch Talk Radio podcast. Here it goes out. See, that's it. That's what happens when you do your own television production. But anyway, you go to watchtalkradio.com. The watchtalkradio.com podcast every Friday begins around 2:00, and then we do our two shows, the IRS Radio Hour and the Trust Radio Network. Now, on Friday, this week, we're going to have Dave Schwanner, attorney Dave Schwanner is going to be on our show, and he's going to talk about personal injury. He's an attorney that I know, outstanding gentleman. I think he's an outstanding attorney, helps people who are injured in an accident usually, but any kind of personal injury case he helps people with. But many of his cases are automobile accidents. So he's going to talk a little bit. He's going to tell us about his practice in automobiles and his clients. Now, he's been on our show before, so he's a good friend of mine. So join us on Friday to meet Dave Schwanner. So if you know somebody that's been hit by in an accident, an automobile accident, or yourself, if you've been hit in an automobile accident, you should give us a call. Watch the show on Friday. You can always reach me and any of our vendors. We have a whole list of attorneys and others who've been on our show, the Trust Radio Network, and I can put you in touch with them. So whenever you're looking for a lawyer, you should give me a call. I have trusted professionals, people you can trust when you're making important decisions, that you can contact and find the right attorney for you. And that's not always an easy thing to do. I understand. So, I don't have a lot to talk about today. My co-host Jim isn't here, so usually Jim and I can have some banter about what's happening. around town and in the news and things like that. We've been talking about cryptocurrency a lot. I'm very interested in cryptocurrency. I'm not much of an investor in it, but I like the tax implications and the problems that a lot of people are having now because of cryptocurrency. We talked about the restaurant revitalization fund. So if you own a restaurant, or if you have a friend who owns a restaurant, or you frequent a restaurant, ask them if they know about the restaurant. I had a client in here yesterday, owned 4 restaurants, had some tax problems, and did not. I gave him the information about the restaurant revitalization fund. So here's a guy probably has he could probably get a big chunk of money from the government on this IRS, the restaurant revitalization fund. And then we talked about the shuttered venue grants, and these are for museums and music venues and movie theaters and operations like that who were shuttered for a year because of COVID. No, they couldn't get anybody in, and so they had zero income. And now there's a fund available for them, and that fund is about $16 billion. That's right, $16 billion. The Restaurant Revitalization Fund is $28 billion. I think it's more than 28.6 or something like that, $1 billion. So these are the kind of things that we like to talk about on this show, call to action. And the reason why I call this show Call to Action is because COVID has taken so much on everybody. In order to get your life back, you have to take action. You can't sit around and wait. You can't hope and pray. You have to take action. So there's things you can do to protect yourself and to rebound from this. And that's what this show's all about. It's how can you rebound? How can you, we call it full financial recovery. If you go to fullfinancialrecovery.com, you'll see there that I have some 4 steps to take if you're having problems and how you can overcome them. But there's more than that, right? It's not always financial. Now, the new marketing, how do you market in this new market, in this new world that we live in? So all of this stuff, these are the things we're going to talk about on Call to Action. And Call to Action, we're going to air every night from Monday through Friday. Actually, it's going to be Monday through Thursday, because Fridays we do our other shows on Friday afternoon. And you can catch us at Friday afternoon at 2 o'clock on watchtalkradio.com, and Monday through Thursday at 6 o'clock on watchtalkradio.com, or on Facebook. All of this is also posted on Facebook. So, and YouTube, we're on YouTube. I haven't been on any of the other alternatives, Rumble and all these others. They're not that easy to attach to. But if you have a question, again, give me a call, 312-664-6649. Again, that number is 312-664-6649. I'm so happy to talk to you this afternoon or this evening. And join us tomorrow. We'll be back tomorrow to talk about something else about here in Call to Action. So take action. And that's what this show is all about. So thanks so much for joining us.